After The Apprentice, I took some time out and tried to work out what it was that I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to do something on the internet, and I had lots of ideas ranging from education through to intimacy, through to all kinds of stuff. And what happened was, obviously, I spent some time in New York at the beginning of 2008, and the credit crunch, or whatever they called it over there, was really starting to hit. And when I came home, I realised that the same was happening in London. And I thought, well, is there an opportunity here? Is there a business model? Is there something that can complement the credit crunch? And actually, it happened, we were sitting in Selfridges, my friend and I, drinking champagne, and we just kind of said, you know, we don't do this half as much as we used to, and why is that? And we just started chatting to a few people and realised that, you know, people just were not spending as much as they wanted to, but still they wanted to have a nice life, and it was born from there, really. I think The Apprentice has given me a profile. There's obviously no doubt about that. In some ways that profile's been fantastic, and in other ways the profile's been less fantastic. But the biggest and best thing it's done for me is the doors that it opens for the people that I want to meet, like my business idols, if you like. I've met some of the most fantastic and accomplished business people that before I would have just dreamed about meeting. And I've had lunch with them, I've had coffee with them, I've socialised with them, and it's just been fabulous. I really believe in the power of mentoring. I think it's immense, and I think being able to pick up the telephone to somebody that's where you want to be or has experienced the things that you are going to experience, I think it's invaluable, and you cannot put a price onto it. And I think when you reach a certain level of success, I think being able to almost back mentor, so you know, you then become, rather than being a mentee, you become a mentor. And I think it's a vicious circle, well, not vicious, but it's a positive circle that should be encouraged. What I realised quite quickly is that actually what I was doing was okay, and being selected by Alan Sugar as his apprentice was so good in terms of validating some of the previous insecurities that I may have had about, you know, am I good enough? Am I going to do this? Am I not? And being selected was just a huge validation. And it was like, actually, what I'm doing is good, and where I'm heading is good. And, you know, I really respected Alan Sugar as a business person, and I still to this day respect his achievements. But it made me realise that actually I'm okay on my own, and where I was heading was probably not so bad. The best piece of advice that Alan Sugar's ever given me, both directly and indirectly, is to believe in yourself, and to believe in your ideas, and to almost disregard people's criticism and when people try and sway you. And, you know, that advice was something he gave me directly. And it was also just by watching the way that he does his business. When you sit and you watch how he works, if he believes in something, he goes after it. Like literally, he grabs it and he goes after it. And he has an innate self-confidence. And I think it was really good advice, and it was really good to see. And I think it's applicable to everybody. You've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to believe in your idea. And when things, you know, when curveballs come and knock you, you know, so what? You've just got to keep ploughing ahead. Everybody was coming at me from all angles with different opportunities, you know, do this business and help me with this and get involved with this and that. And it was so distracting, and I felt like I was a small child in a sweet shop, like looking up at all the jars of sweets and not actually being able to figure out which one I wanted. And it takes me, I have to consciously work at not being distracted these days, because you know, when I first won The Apprentice, I was distracted. People would come and talk to me, and I'd be like, yay, let's have a coffee and talk about your wonderful idea. Whereas now, I know what I want to do, and if people come to me, I very quickly go, right, is this aligned with what I want to do, yes or no? And if the answer is no, I don't even see them. And if it's yes, I'll see them, but only for a limited period, and only once they've sent me something through so that I've evaluated it before. So I think that's my big challenge, staying focused. I think the male-female debate is a very, you know, it's quite an old one now, and I I'm not sure that there is divides that exist anymore. And I know that when my first consulting job was for a European telecoms company, and I was a technology lead. So it's my job to restructure the technology division. And I remember on the first day when I walked in to meet the key stakeholders, so the CTO and the chief operating officer, and they were in their 50s, they were both men. And I kind of walked in my high heels and my dress and plonked myself down and started laying out the rules of how it was going to be and what we were going to do and how it was going to work. And I could just see them looking at me as if to say, who's that? And I'm not going to listen to her in a million years. And then, you just build you get their respect, you build their trust, and you get your head down, you work, you deliver. And as long as you kind of exceed people's expectations, I couldn't care less whether you're, male, female, you're an alien, it doesn't matter. For me, it's all about what you do and what you deliver and how well you deliver. With entrepreneurs, age is a fantastic asset. I think the younger that you are, I personally believe that the better entrepreneur you make in some ways, because you have nothing to lose. If you're in you're 18, you're 19, you're 20, chances are you don't have a mortgage, you probably don't have a family in terms of your own children, and you can be so much more active with your risks because you lose a lot less. And I think just go for it, see your age as an attribute and get a kick out of being so much more successful than people twice your age. Have courage, have confidence, know your business model, know your mindset, and just, you will be able to convert people to your way of thinking, and people will get the respect for you because they'll, if you deliver, then that's all that matters. I think there's lots of debates about what makes an entrepreneur a successful one and what actually makes an entrepreneur at all. And for me, it's all about, I'm quite spiritual, I think. And it's all about visualizing what you want. And from being very, very young, I've had this vision that I was always going to leave my hometown. I was always going to do my own thing. I was always going to be my own boss. And I never quite knew what that looked like, but I was very confident that it was going to happen. And even now, today, I still have that element of confidence that I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to do my own thing, and I want to do it well. And I will. And I think entrepreneurs, they share that value. They want to be doing their own thing. They want to create something or improve something, but they want to do it in their own terms. I would work every day. I would work every night, everything. But it was to the detriment of my life. So I never had proper relationships, and I never had proper friendships, because it was all about, getting the next property or getting the next promotion or earning the next, getting into the next pay bracket or whatever it was. And in some respects, I do think to make a success of something, you've got to have that passion. But what I've learned, particularly since The Apprentice, is it's got to be about a balance. And I think the people that are far more successful are those people that are balanced in what they do. So if you want to work, 24 hours a day on your business, and that's fabulous, as long as one day of the week you have time with your friends and with your partner and you do social things and you travel. Because I think that the more balanced you are and the broader experience that you have outside of work, the more you can bring that into your workplace, and it'll develop you as well. I think the best organisations are organisations that empower their workforce to be able to make a change or develop something or evolve something, and actually empower them to not have to all the time fill in 15 forms if they want to make a change. And, I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they had an idea that they wanted to implement within their organisation. They went to their line manager and said, look, I think this might add value, can we try it? And the guy was like, well, can you fill in a change request? And the guy was like, well, yeah, I could, but we're only trying it. He was like, well, there's procedures. And I just thought, how silly, because, it was quite a good idea what the guy was proposing. And the guy just decided he couldn't be bothered because all the forms, he just left it. And actually, the organisation missed out. I'm quite into guerrilla marketing, and I like stunts, and I like, different things. And my advice is just be bold in your product, be bold in your marketing, have a bit of fun, engage the press, speak to the press, And, you know, I like just wild and wacky things. And if I didn't have a profile, I think what I would do to launch a business, I'd probably take over the South Bank and I'd do some crazy stuff and do some stunts and get the media attention around by creating a story. And I'd also have some kind of viral campaign that really, really got people talking and got, you know, just circulated everywhere. So I think virals and guerrilla marketing and stunts is definitely the way forward.